If you tell them what they want to hear, they never even bother to try and see you. That's one that Zohran Mamdani got right. In a, I would say, almost unprecedented or very unexpected turn of events, Zohran Mamdani, the socialist who said he would spend the entirety of his mayorship of New York City fighting Trump, even going as far as to reach out to other members of the Democrat socialist cadre in an effort to enlist their help in fighting against Donald Trump. Zohran, in my opinion, completely betrayed his supporters and went over to Washington and sat down with none other than Donald Trump, the self-labeled socialist, the man who proposed free buses and the rich paying their fair share and taking properties from landlords who were considered to be shady or slumlords by the city. This guy is now sitting down with a man who I can only call the King Koopa of capitalism. And while I don't care if they sit down or not, because if you have a single working brain cell in your head, I'm just kind of wondering what the radical leftist progressives are thinking about this meeting. And I know they're not happy about it, but my question to them would be, do you feel betrayed? A wise man once said a socialist is just a communist who's too afraid to fight for what he believes in. And the more I look at this Zohran Mamdani character, the more that's seeming to be true. You say you're going to fight Trump. You say you're going to Trump-proof New York City. Zohran, you said a lot of things, and I called it before you were elected. I believe you were saying whatever the desperate, broke, lazy, entitled, rich kids of New York and their lazy, desperate, and broke, impoverished counterparts wanted to hear. Zohran, you know, you just regurgitated liberal, radical, leftist talking points. And I don't believe that you actually believed a word of it. See, Zohran Mamdani was born and raised in a place called Uganda. That's in Africa. And one thing you don't see many of in Africa, especially East Africa, right next door to Kenya, right by Rwanda, right by Tanzania, you don't see a lot of socialists. You see a lot of people seeking to get capital so that they can take advantage of the beautiful system that we so lovingly call capitalism. So when I heard that there was a Ugandan born and African capitalist, I was taken aback. But then when I saw this guy talk and I heard what he was saying, I told myself, this guy is not a capitalist. This guy is not a socialist. This guy is someone who understands that compliments and telling people what they want to hear will get you everywhere. And Zohran Mamdani took a bunch of empty promises, a bunch of backhanded compliments, and basically a bunch of pie in the sky and rode it all the way to the White House. A man with a father whose net worth is $10 million, a mother whose net worth is $8 million, and whose family's overall net worth is estimated to be in the upper hundreds of millions of dollars. Basically a child of the elite, a Nepo baby, has made it to the White House. And the beautiful or most beautiful part of it all, my socialist family, all y'all rich need to pay their fair share. You guys put him there. Now read him and weep.
That, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories. I don't hear that, but I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, Dave de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President.
Okay, how about you? Go ahead, please.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would, especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
And it's right there, folks. We agree on a lot more than I thought. You can kiss your socialist utopia dreams goodbye. Two men sat in a room, two very rich men, by the way, sat in a room, and the richer of the two men, the more accomplished of the two men, the one who's actually created jobs and built businesses for the better part of 60 years, he said, "You're not really serious about this crap, are you?" And Zohran clearly said, "Come on, Donald. Come on, Prez. Come on, Trump. You know I got to tell these idiots whatever they want to hear so that they will give me the mantle of leadership." And you can see it written all over Zohran's face. Just the way he's standing, like a loyal dog that just got whooped. You can tell that now it's back to business as usual in New York City. Trump even said that he wouldn't mind living in New York City under a Mamdani mayorship. So what does that tell you? What does that let you know? That lets you know that there was something said that made Trump say, you know what, this guy is not the extreme leftist that we all thought he was. This guy is not as radical as he was presenting himself to be. And what was really said was, hey, I'm not going to bankrupt the city and go after the top 1% of taxpayers and try to make them pay for all these utopian propaganda projects. And Trump said, okay, then we have an understanding. And Donald Trump has a very good understanding of the media. And he understands that the media is one of the main culprits of driving this false idea that socialism is going to deliver a paradisaic setting or a future in America. So he understands that people like Zohran have to say what they have to say to appease the media. Is Zohran Mamdani a democratic socialist? No, and I never thought he was. I've never met an Arab socialist. Did I not say that in the very beginning? When I first started talking about this guy, didn't I say I've never met an Arab socialist? Didn't I bring up the fact that there's all types of billionaires and trillionaires over in the Middle East, and yet that place has some of the highest poverty rates of anywhere on the planet? You don't get that way because there's a bunch of socialists passing out money like Mansa Musa so everybody can be equal. The Middle Eastern culture, the Arab culture, thrives on haves and have-nots. The haves are the guys waging the wars, Osama bin Laden. The have-nots are the guys fighting the wars. You can insert any name of any broke Arabic person that you've ever met. I mean, when you get to the point where you're buying boys for your illicit desires, you know there's some major cashola exchanging hands in that region. So why is there poverty? Why does the United States have to give aid to Middle Eastern countries if Arabs are just these inherently socialist people who love where the rich love to pay their fair share and lift the poor man up out of poverty? It's just not the case. And Zohran pulled a fast one on everybody who voted for him. If you watched a channel like this one and actually listened, you would know that this was coming. I called it. And now Donald Trump is pretty much validating my assumptions. He's like, no, I will live under him. We agreed on a lot more than I thought. Yeah, because Mamdani knows exactly where Trump is coming from, because it's the same place he comes from, a place of unlimited wealth and prosperity. And instead of you seeking to get the same, you rather keep getting hoodwinked and bamboozled, listening to him tell you exactly what you want to hear, knowing deep down in his mind that he's never going to deliver on any of it.
He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea, because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on, tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that
Well,
goes.
but I know, but if he flew, that's a lot quicker too. He's working very hard. For him to be, that's a very long drive. I'll stick up for you. The plane.
Hey, let me tell you something. This guy is bought and paid for. The guy takes a plane over there. I don't know if he took a private jet. I don't know what he took. But once Zohran is exposed to the not so leftist, not so progressive national media, it's a whole different story. Yeah, man, if you want to save the environment, you have to be the change you want to see. Bro could have took a train. Bro could have took a bus. Why didn't he do it? I mean, DC is a ways from New York, but it's not that far away. Bro could have took that good old Greyhound. And he's like, oh, I'll take every mode of transport. Yeah, and so will I. But see how they love exercising their options to do what they want to do while they work every day to take away your options to do what you want to do? The hypocrisy is coming out already. And it's almost like they had these questions waiting for this guy. For the second he stepped out of New York, right? And so they can hit him hard on these different issues. Shout out to everybody who's dropping in for the first time. Shout out to regular ICA TV, Funk EAM, all the people who are tapping in. Please hit the like button for me. You're here on Defying Brandon, and we are calling out these socialists. Because if you have to understand these people. These people are very uncompromising. They run out and they're in the middle of the street every time you don't agree with them. I mean, on any issue. I don't believe you should spray bugs with Raid. Dude, they got a protest of 3 people with signs out there just chanting away, right? They're out there for the illegal immigrants and everything else. But you understand that the people who were the most radical of the progressives, they have to be feeling very betrayed right now, because they do not want their leader even talking with Donald Trump. They want their leader fighting Donald Trump tooth and nail, doing everything he can to block Donald Trump. And as one group of Democrats battles with Trump over the truth or the details of the Epstein files, you have another part of the Democrat Party that is sitting in Washington, smiling from ear to ear, it looks like from this picture, doing everything they can to get in Trump's good graces. Just y'all help me make sense of it, please. I got you. No, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, I did not skip your super chat. I read your super chat, and you might have dropped off before, but it was for $2. I remember it. I definitely read your super chat, my brother. I even remember that it was for $2. But yeah, so don't spam the chat with the F Mamdani stuff. We have civilized folks up in here now. But I want these people to explain to me, why is the guy that they told me was the new socialist warrior? They said, bro has taken over the party. He has the youth. The kids love him. You know, he's the future. Why is this guy sitting in front of Donald Trump? Why isn't this guy biding his time for 3 years and working to get Trump to undermine Trump like the rest of the Democrats? Oh, believe me, I believe that this liberal progressive wing of the party will take over the Democrat Party. I believe that because that's where the youth is, right? But I also believe that they understand that those radical left progressive ideas, they sound really good in front of television cameras. But when it comes down to the daily management and administration of a city or government, that stuff is just pie in the sky, man. These people want to beat China on solar energy when China makes all the solar panels. It just doesn't make sense when you really start adding up. And I'm going to give you an example of what's happening in Chicago that explains perfectly why. Let's play some more of this, and then I'll tell you.
It takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a
And
long
Mr. President, I was wondering if you could clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
Mr. President, and you did a piece in all the 9 months
Yes.
around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump didn't do a peace and worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights. And I know that still today, those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President.
Yeah, what I would say is no one's violating more human rights than the terrorists, right? Yeah, some things happen that shouldn't be going on. I don't like the idea of the United States giving a bunch of money to Israel either. I don't like the idea of Israel talking about eradicating people because, you know, the Israelis, they keep this mindset like everybody on earth wants to kill them, right? And I believe that that's just their way to kind of keep their people like all on one, you know, on one paradigm. And I think it's wrong to do that. But at the same time, we're not going to pretend like there ain't a bunch of Arab terrorists in Africa, right? In the Sahel and West Africa, slaughtering innocent people. I would love to hear Mamdani, who is a person who's from Africa, talk about that. I mean, we could talk about Israel all day, but there are worse monsters out there than the Israeli state, in my opinion. I just want to see people look at terrorism on an equal plane. The Nigerians getting slaughtered. You never hear Mamdani even bring that up. But there's a bunch of Nigerians living in New York. See, so what you see is a lot of people, they'll talk like us, it's us, right? We're all in this together. But a lot of their motivation is like, the things that they personally want to deal with. They're the things that hit them in a more personal way. But I mean, I love that the media is hitting them with these questions. I love that he's not really running away from the questions. But most importantly, I love the fact that Trump received him with open arms, heard him out. He talked to Trump, right? But hold on. But they heard each other out. But my question is this to you, and I want the viewer who's watching this to really look at what's going on here. You have one part of the Democrat Party that is literally doing nothing on a daily, right? Who's doing nothing but on a daily basis trying to smear Trump. They did this whole thing with the Epstein files that, in my opinion, it looks like it's backfiring on them incredibly. And it's like almost like, why is it that a mayor from New York can come, have opposing views with the president, and find some common ground, but the politicians sitting up on Capitol Hill in both chambers of Congress act like they're like at odds and they can't work together on anything? That's what I don't like. That's what I can't stand. We know it can be done. We're looking at it happening right before our eyes. So what this tells me, and you might not agree, but what this tells me is Trump is not the person who's refusing to cross the aisle and have the necessary conversations. Because Zohran, the most leftist of the leftists, he is in the White House. Trump didn't pull a Jasmine Crockett where he has to be like dishonest to make it seem like there's this like this animosity or blood feud between Democrats and Republicans. Trump was just like, yeah, a lot of stuff he agreed with, because we know that at the end of the day, we all have more in common than we have different. So but people, like, they love the drama of it, but something about drama just does not transfer over into real life when you're a person who wants to prosper. The only time I've seen people who fed on drama in real life, I've never seen them succeed. I've seen them fail miserably and blame everybody else for their failure, but I've never seen these people doing anything or being in any position that I would say I wanted to be in. We're going to play a little bit more of this, and then I'm going to tell you a perfect example of why socialism doesn't work.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats. I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City. And I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would have loved to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go in a different direction. And I think you really have a chance to make it great. I appreciate what you're doing.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. 1 or 2 more. Go ahead. I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares, but they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was gonna ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this and in some form?
Because I think he's different. All right. I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way, but I think he's different than, your typical guy runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting, because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping.
Yeah, and he does need the help of the federal government. But one of the things I like about Mamdani, and I think it's a smart position for him to take, is he's focused on his city, right? I'm not going to get involved in the national BS. I'm focused on my city. That's much different from Mayor Johnson, Brandon Johnson, who he's claims to be focused on his city, and this is in Chicago. He claims to be focused on his city, but every time you turn around, he's fighting some like national battle with Washington. I mean, even going as far as to go to the UN and try to bring Trump on like violations of people's human rights, crimes against humanity. Bro, you're a city mayor. A city mayor. There ain't much difference between you and the mayor of Mayberry, right? But you're trying to bring the UN. You're trying to bring the UN in against the president of the United States? That's treasonous, if you ask me. But that's why Brandon Johnson is going to fail. That's why he's begging right now. And I feel like Zohran, he's learning from that. They're like, yeah, Zohran, we're on the same team. And Zohran's like, nah, I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to be remembered for something good. See, that only the African American politicians, I'm telling you, just mark my words. Listen to me when I say this. Only the African American politicians are putting party over their own prosperity, and the prosperity of the American people. Only the black folks. I don't know why we're like that. We get on the damn team. We want to be on the team. We want to be a team player so bad, while simultaneously screaming that everybody is racist and everybody hate us. But we want to be on the team so bad, we jeopardize our own livelihood and position just to prove our loyalty to the team. You remember Jamal Bowman? What happened to him? He was saying the same crap Mamdani is saying. But Jamal Bowman is gone. And Mamdani is still here. Jamal Bowman lost. He spoke out so crazily about Israel. He got destroyed because his area, his district had a bunch of Jewish people in it. They destroyed him. And then that same district turned around and voted 37% for Mamdani, who was saying even worse things about Israel. But see, the difference was that I don't even believe it was just what Jamal Bowman was saying about Israel. I believe Jamal Bowman had no other plan. That was his only plan. I'm gonna just keep on talking trash about Israel, and I'm gonna let that carry me to the representative position. And that's what you see with a lot of these leftists. Nobody wants to vote for someone who's just running on hate or disdain for another group. Yeah, you could hate or have disdain. We could share our mutual dislike of a certain group, but you got to give me some ideas. How are you going to make my life easier? Hating on Israel ain't going to make nobody's life easier. Right? People have real problems. Jamal Bowman, Nina Turner. What happened to her? Cory Bush. What happened to her? Gone. Cooked. Finished. Finito. Right? Because it was all about the party for them. Jasmine Crockett is another one that's about to be gone. Because it's all about the party. It's like, man, you better worry about your own neck and these people who voted you into office to help them, to represent them, not Chuck Schumer, to represent them, not Hakeem Jeffries, to represent them, not Nancy Pelosi and all other Democrats. They sent you, your party is Democrat. That's really neither here nor there. The Democrats are there to help you get elected. But ultimately, what's going to help you stay elected is doing what Zohran Mamdani is doing. You can criticize what someone believes all day long, but you really cannot. If they are doing right by you, it don't really matter what they believe. And this is what I tell black folks about racism. You could call white folks and everybody else racist all day, but what are they doing for you, or are they doing right by you when that's their job and their duty? Because someone could be in the KKK, but they also could be over in the Middle East fighting for your freedom. Hey, bro, I don't really care what you believe. If I need you to do this job, can you do it? I don't care if you're a Hindu, a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Taoist, and whatever else. Can you put this damn spare tire on this car, Habibi? That's all I care about. And that's how it really boils down when it comes to most people. Are you doing right by me? Because that's what I want to know. And do I agree with the socialism nonsense that Zohran ran on? Do I even believe he believes it? No. But do I think he has the right mindset to lead the city of New York? I mean, based on what he's saying here, yes. Based on what Donald Trump is saying, I believe Trump is a good businessman who makes deals, and he's a good judge of character. Then I feel like he knows if bro's heart is in the right place, and we shall see. But I'll tell you whose heart is not in the right place, and who's probably going to be the next victim of the partisanship, Brandon Johnson, who just was rejected for trying to put in a head tax. I don't know if you know what a head tax is, but a head tax is where a city government tries to charge businesses based on the number of employees they have. So like, say you got 100 employees, they want you to pay $20 per month for every employee that you have, right? So Brandon Johnson is seeking to impose a $100 head tax on any company with 1,000 or more employees in Chicago. And this failed miserably, right? This guy basically said, he's basically saying, this guy is basically saying, hold on real quick. This guy is saying, he's saying, if you come to New York, to Chicago, and you have a business where you start a business, and starting that business, that's going to create jobs, right? So you're going to bring jobs to my city. Say you hire 100 people, you brought 100 jobs. I am going to penalize you for hiring people in my city. So if you hire 100 people, I'm going to charge you $100 per person every month. Just think about that. Just think about that. I come to your city. You're telling me that out of one side of your lips, you're telling me that the young people are violent because they need jobs, right? But when I come to your city to bring you some jobs, you are now penalizing me. You're hitting me with a tax for bringing those jobs. What company is going to want to come to that city and provide jobs? So I give you 100 jobs, right? And you charge me $10,000 a month. That's ridiculous. I got to pay you. I got to pay the employees. I got to pay all the taxes that already exist. But then I got to pay you an extra $10,000 for actually bringing a job to you, a job that you said the young people in your city need. Do you realize how asinine that is? Do you realize how ridiculous that is? It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And then the worst part about it is this has already been tried by another mayor. It's the mayor of Chicago, Seattle, Katie Wilson. She already tried it. They have Amazon in their city, right? They said, Amazon, any business, I think they say any business with over 1,000 employees, right? So Amazon is in Seattle, right? They tried to charge Amazon $275 for every employee every month. And they said, hey, we're going to use this money to fight homelessness. We're going to use this money to fight homelessness. We're not going to use the money that we're already taking in through taxes in a major city like Seattle, right? We're going to make Amazon pay for our homelessness problem. This council of Seattle passed it. Guys, 29 days later, they did an emergency session and repealed the tax because Amazon stopped all projects in the city, and they were about to leave the city of Seattle. And so now you have citizens, a bunch of idiots who are like, oh man, they need to pay and we need to do something about this homelessness, fighting with other citizens who are like, look, I want to fight homelessness, but I don't want it to cost me my job. Because if like you're gonna fight homelessness, but in the course of fighting it, you're gonna make more homeless people, more jobless people. See what I'm saying? It's like Siamese twins getting in a fight. You hit me, yeah, you hurt me, but it hurts you too. You go after the corporation, you're hurting the people who are your neighbors who work for the corporation. But do you notice the people they never go after? They're never going after the politicians who are constantly mismanaging the money that they're already getting. It's always, we need more and more money. It's never, hey, we need to budget. We need to trim a little fat. We need to trim a little pork, stop a little bit of waste, right? It's never that. I've never heard a politician say, hey, you know what? Especially, well, in a liberal city, I've never heard a politician say, hey, we got to stop the waste. The liberals, just give us more money. Well, why would I give you more money when you're already mismanaging the money that I've given you? And then on top of that, you got people like, what's her name? Is her name Stacy Plaskett or something? You got this chick. She's stealing $5 million from FEMA. Y'all want to tax us more while y'all got people stealing $5 million and y'all didn't even know. The Pentagon can't account for billions of dollars, which I believe the Pentagon know exactly where that money is at, but they just can't tell you what they spent that money on. But there's all types of departments, governmental departments and agencies wasting billions and billions of dollars. But your answer is not to clean that up and stop the corruption. Your answer is to just take more. We're just going to take more. We're just going to charge you more. I'm with the rich people in these cities. Hell no. You're not going to take more from me until you show me where the money that I'm currently giving is going. And I would call for full transparency in government. I want to see where every single penny of our taxpayer dollars are going. And I don't want any government official to be able to get contracts or anything with the government. None of them. And even when they do a contract, I want to know where every penny is going. And if a company is getting a government contract, I want them to have full transparency so I can see where every penny that they receive from the government went. That's how you're going to stop this mess. That's how you're going to stop all this waste. I'm telling you. Trust me on that one. Okay, we got to go over to our next topic. Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is in North Carolina, right? right? I don't know. I don't know about Podunk. I believe Charlotte is in North Carolina. I gotta go down to Rodney Scott's barbecue. That's in Carolina. Where's Charlotte? Let me see. I'm looking up on my phone. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. But I'm gonna go down to South Carolina because there's this place called Rodney Scott's Barbecue, and I gotta try it. I don't know if you know about Rodney Scott. He's a brother who his family business went out of business, and he went around the country selling barbecue and made a bunch of millions. And then he opened up like a chain of barbecue restaurants in South Carolina. So I'm definitely going out there to show my brother some love. He's been doing it for years, and I've been watching him do it for years. And it's time to. But we got to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and these illegal criminal alien migrants and their supporters, they are doing the most, right? Shout out to you. Means I'm gonna read that in a second. Hey guys, get the super chats and everything in now, because after this topic, I'm going to read them. I'm hearing that over here in Charlotte, these fools then ran up in a Home Depot. They're mad at ICE for doing a raid at a Home Depot. And so the protesters have run up in Home Depot. Like, screw y'all jobs. Bump what y'all got going on. We don't want these people that we 9 times out of 10 don't give a crap about. We don't want ICE to come get them, right? We don't want ICE getting the illegals out. Now, when the cartel members come and enslave us all, these kids ain't gonna fight nobody. They probably join the cartel in hurting you, but they know that they don't want us getting these people out of the country. They say this is what democracy looks like, right? This is what democracy looks like. But they only want democracy when they agree or when their side wins. That's the problem I have. You only want democracy when your side wins. And that's not a democracy at all. That's a totalitarian state. You only want democracy when your side wins. And I got a little short clip of the invasion of Home Depot. I remember when we were young, we called it Home Depot, just to be funny. But I got a little clip of the invasion of the Home Depot. Check this out.
At Home Depot! At Home Depot! At Home Depot! At Home Depot! At Home Depot!
The only people I see getting out of Home Depot is them. The people at Home Depot looking like, why are y'all doing this? Because that's how normal people look at these people. Why are y'all making my life harder? Because y'all mad that somebody who's illegal made a choice, right? They made a choice to come here illegally. Now they have to live with the consequences. And now you got to make my life hard. Man, I'm just here trying to work and feed my family. But now I got to deal with you, right? I got to deal with you fighting your war against ICE on behalf of Ricky Martin and them. It's just annoying. And I'm sad for those people.
ICE! ICE! At Home Depot! 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 Home Depot, shame on you! Home Depot, shame CBP at Home Depot. CBP at Home Depot. CBP at Home Depot.
Since Saturday morning, we have witnessed attacks from CBP agents throughout the city and surrounding towns. From guns being drawn on pedestrian windows, broken at restaurants, and U.S. citizens detained and later released, it is clear that CBP's main mission is to disrupt public safety and everyday life in Charlotte. Our Report ICE hotline has received thousands of calls for ICE sightings, community members fearful of CBP in their neighborhood, but bravely reporting. Witness calls of abduction in broad daylight, and heartbroken families reporting the separation of their loved ones. Every single day, day laborers, immigrant workers, and families come to the stores to purchase supplies for their jobs, homes, and emergencies. They also gather outside these stores looking for a fair chance to work. This isn't just commerce. This is community survival. Right now, the community is under threat. Since Saturday, we have received calls of increased enforcement outside of Home Depot across the city. Home Depot has the responsibility and the opportunity to stand with the community as a major gathering point. They are not neutral. Their stores are part of daily reality for immigrant workers and families.
I mean, the fact that someone can speak so confidently while defending illegality. I look at these people and they all look kind of Hispanic, right? But my thing is this, man, you guys could go start 1 million businesses in Mexico for pennies on the dollar and employ these people. Let them work for you, right? And you won't have to worry about ICE or Vice or anybody else hurting them. I don't understand that. I think that a Mexican person, right? I believe they have love for Mexico. And I think they want what's best for Mexico. So why don't you just create an opportunity for bro to go live in Mexico and work and take care of his family over there? Why don't you help the United States government fight the cartels over in Mexico so the Mexican people can be back in control of their government? See, this is why it took for the kids, the youth of Mexico, to stand up against the drug cartels, because all the grown-ass men are over here. They leave and run over here, and then they want to just stay over here. They leaving their kids and everything. I don't respect a group of men who, instead of fighting for their country, they flee, as Tariq Nasheed would say, and they leave it to their children to fight and die for the freedom of their country. I don't agree with that. I can't get down with that. These people need to go and do the work in their country and stop trying to just come and make demands in someone else's country that we can't make in their country. That's the worst part. We can't go over to Mexico and be like, yeah, we want to work over here and all this mess. We can't do it. And you got these kids, they miss the school. They said 30,000 kids miss school to go march in protest of ICE. Like, you're going to mess up your doggone education? You're going to mess up your education out here trying to fight for some people who got their own country to go to and wouldn't fight for you. But one of the things I wanted to highlight is they actually interviewed an immigration professor, right? A immigration law professor about the ICE raids in Charlotte, North Carolina. And what she had to say about it, she's Hispanic, it looks like. And what she had to say about it, you might find it interesting.
Aisha Jain is an immigration law professor at the UNC School of Law. 130 arrests in Charlotte over the weekend. Professor Jain, what concerns do you have about what's unfolding there?
I have a number of concerns regarding the scale and scope of these actions, the potential for people getting hurt, the potential for the unnecessary use of force, and also the potential for error, so citizens and non-citizens alike being swept up.
According to the top Border Patrol official, Gregory Bovino, some of these people have been arrested before for things like DUI, aggravated assault, shoplifting. Help us understand, what's the legal process for asylum seekers or people who have entered the country illegally who have been charged with a crime? Can they be kicked out of the country, or detained without due process?
Sure. So let me just take a step back and say it's always been the case that the people who are here without lawful status, and even people who are here legally, so someone who has followed the process and who's applied for asylum and is waiting for that application to be determined, it's always been the case that these folks could be removed after a certain process. And it's always been the case, or not always, but for at least over a decade, that anytime anyone's been arrested for anything, their immigration information's been shared with immigration enforcement officials. So I don't think this is actually about the who can be removed or who can't be removed. I think the real question these enforcement actions are raising is how can the government go about doing this? So when and whether the government can stop somebody and detain them, and for no reason other than to check their immigration status. I think that's what this is really about, and it has the potential to sweep up citizens as well who, don't have their paperwork on them. And
so let the illegal immigrants invade your country because we don't want to accidentally bother some citizens asking them, are they legal here? That is the most ridiculous statement I ever heard in my life. And she's an immigration law professor, so she's not going to speak out against, ICE doing their job, because she understands that that's perfectly 1000% legal. She's going to try to talk around the issue and say, oh, it's about safety. Listen, if you cared about safety, I don't know this lady's name, but if you cared about safety, you would have said that back when the Biden administration and the sanctuary cities were colluding and not turning over the illegal immigrants' immigration status and information to federal law enforcement when they were caught for heinous and violent crimes. How are people who are traffickers and who have great women and beat their wives and did all this crazy stuff, how is it that these people have been arrested in America and 5, 10, 15 years later, they're still in America when they're supposed to be deported? Everyone already knows the drill. If you get arrested for a serious offense and you are illegal, the local police are supposed to turn your information over to ICE, and you are supposed to be arrested inside of the jail by ICE and taken into ICE custody. That's the way it works. That prevents the ICE and Department of Homeland Security from having to go out into the streets of cities and have shootouts and everything else with these illegal immigrant. Many of them are traffickers and criminals, right? They violated that agreement. They don't want to do that anymore. They said, screw you, federal government, and gave them the finger. And so now the federal government's like, okay, well, we just got to come extract people straight off the street. Follow the laws, follow the agreement, follow the status quo, the way things have went for decades, and you won't have these problems. See, I don't like this when people who are supposed to be smart and intelligent purposely omit the facts when given an opinion. The potential for people to get hurt. Yeah, right. What she's saying is, I'm pretending to care about the people that ICE that will come into will interact with getting hurt. I'm pretending to care that the Hispanics and the other Nigerian illegal immigrants might get hurt, but she's not considering the American citizens, the law-abiding people who are being hurt by these illegal immigrants, the ones that happen to be traffickers and rapists and criminals, right? It's all hypocrisy. I care about the illegal guy getting hurt, but I don't care about the woman or young girl who he hurt, who has to live with that for the rest of their life or is dead, so they don't have a say in what goes on. No, I'm not buying it. I got one name for her, Jocelyn Nungary. I think her name's Jocelyn Nungary, the little girl over there in Georgia. Yeah. Do you care about her getting hurt? Do you care about what was the girl's name? Lincoln Riley? Do you care about Lincoln Riley getting hurt? Do you care about the infant where that illegal immigrant threw the coffee on the baby yesterday? These people are so full of crap, it's coming out of their ears. We care about illegals getting hurt, but damn the Americans. It's crazy to me.
Who might not be able to easily prove where they're from.
Yeah, we have seen people who are citizens who are carrying around their passport because they're so concerned that they're going to be, what they say is like unlawfully approached and questioned and potentially detained. So when we talk about just the way in which this is all going about, you're saying that this is one of your main concerns here. What is it that you are seeing that really could be called into question as being illegal?
Yeah, so I mean, just as a general matter, one important set of rights that everyone who's in the United States has is, the right to be left alone. Generally, unless the police have probable cause that we've done something wrong, they're not entitled to arrest a person unless they have reasonable suspicion that criminal activity is afoot. They're not entitled to stop someone, right? Like, so those are rights that are pretty important in terms of helping people feel safe and to engage in their communities in the way that they want to. So I think that's
this lady is a liar. I don't like this lady already because she's just lying. Oh, to help us feel safe. She's not even an illegal immigrant. But see what I'm saying? Look, it shows you, and this exists in the Black community as well. When you identify with criminals, in my opinion, you kind of become a criminal. Because she's like, and us, and we're safe. And all, girl, you get stopped, show your ID, whatever, keep it moving. See, but it's just listen to these people talk, and I want you to understand how one-sided this safety issue is. Oh, so we can feel safe, but they're not worried about the women and children of America who are legal, who run the risk of, oh, I went for a hike and a bloodthirsty immigrant killer got me, mutilated my body, and hung my entrails over the side of a bridge. That happened to somebody. See, it's all one-sided. Hey, what the lady should ask her, well, ma'am, I hear you saying a lot about you wanting to be safe, right? But what about the people who are hurt by illegal immigrants? What about their safety? What about their safety? I bet she would have been tongue-tied. Though it's very rare. I don't care. Very rare could mean me.
That's a real chilling effect, right? When people are not certain about what might happen if they're going about and going to the grocery store or going to a church, like what might be the consequences if they're stopped and asked to show their papers.
Just to be clear, so some of the cases, for example, that Bovino has brought up is one of them is a man who has a prior history of DUI. So people who have a criminal history in front of them, they are, I should say, people who have a criminal history, they are also given those same rights that you have described, yeah?
Well, the question is, how does somebody know at the first moment that they're being stopped whether or not what their immigration status is or whether or not they have a criminal history? So certainly, I think that the government's within its legal rights to say that if you're not here lawfully, and we can also establish that you're someone who we want to prioritize for removal, I think that's been well within the government's scope of their legal authority for some time. I don't think that's really in dispute. Yeah. I think the question is, how are they going about determining who they're going to stop?
Reasonable suspicion. You have to understand that everyone in the United States, they could see you kill someone, but based on our law, you are innocent until proven guilty. So according to this lady's logic, no criminal should ever be arrested. Well, how do you know that they did something? Well, we don't know. That's why they're innocent until they're proven guilty, but we damn sure gonna find out. That's her logic as a law professor. She's in school teaching people. And then y'all wonder why the kids is coming out of the colleges radicalized. This moron is teaching people. Yes, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Based on the laws of this land, no one is guilty until they've been convicted in a court of law. It don't matter if we all saw you do the shit. But if we go by that logic, well, how do you know that they, well, guess what? We wouldn't be arrested. No criminals. We arrest you to find out. And the police have the right to hold you. I know in California, they can hold you for 72 hours with no they under a suspicion. Right? Let me read this. Mean Look said, bruh, I done seen people die in the corner store here. The neighborhood downtown on the bus and train a bunch of times. Man, Charlotte is a bunch of crime like Atlanta, and we only 4 hours away. Facts. Yeah, it goes up over there. It goes up over there. How do you know that they did something? This lady's an idiot. Whatever license she needs to be a professor, it needs to be revoked. But now you understand why the kids are coming out of the colleges radicalized. Because you got Mrs. What about this and what about that? No, man. They're here illegally. What about all the people who they arrested who've actually been illegal? What she doesn't realize is they got, like, this is where people are stupid. When you get arrested, they take a picture of you. They do a mugshot on you. And ICE has access to all that stuff in their database. So this idea that, like, oh, how do they know? They're just randomly pulling people off the street. I haven't been stopped by ICE yet. I was just up in LA on Central, and ICE was roaming around. They didn't stop me. They didn't jump out on me at the liquor store. Hey, where you from, nigga? They know who they're looking for because the people who they have in the database are people who've committed crimes. And they sit there and they watch day after day. They roll around in unmarked cars. You don't know if they didn't roll around there 2-3 times, 4 or 5 days in a row, looking to make sure. Oh, that's him right there. All right, we're gonna come back tomorrow just to make sure. Let's get the picture. She don't know what they're doing. She knows that she has to say whatever she can to defend her people, to make it so her people are above the law. And it really saddens me that there are people like her who, you know, they're holding these type of positions of authority and they're being entrusted to teach the youth, and they're willing to spread lies in the name of solidarity with the Raza. You're supposed to be an American, my lady. Your prosperity has come from America. The circumstances or situation that you find yourself in, you're only here because a lot of people died to make it that way for you. And you're betraying those people.
We've seen lots of videos of the raids and arrests taking place. One video was taken by a woman who was sitting in a car. She was recording agents that had surrounded a minivan. They were taking someone inside that minivan into custody. The agents then approached the woman who was taking the video. Are people allowed to record this? Is there any legal recourse for recording?
So I think it's context specific. I think certainly, you know, people are being advised to record what's happening, and in some cases, this can. I mean, there's certainly been cases where people have, I think, arguments that it's a First Amendment right to record. I think the question would be, well, how and when are you doing it? Is there any claim that you're somehow intruding or interfering with government officials who are doing their job? But certainly, if someone's not, you know, interfering with anybody else, I think that I think that people should generally be well within their rights to record.
Yeah, let's staying on the point of what people's rights are. Business owners, customers who are inside those businesses, what rights do they have if federal agents approach them?
Yeah, so this can actually be a really confusing question for people because in some cases, what the government is doing, what federal agents might be doing, is just asking, and the business owner might well be free to say, no thanks. You know, I prefer that you not come in. You should just go on your way. In other cases, they might be saying we have the legal authority to enter whether or not you want us to come in or not. So I think that's the primary question that that needs to be answered. And one way business owners can know is to ask that question. You know, is this a consent-based search?
Can't nobody get away from the police by running up in no business. Come on now. This is what I'm saying. Like, this woman, a law professor, she know this is a lie. If that's the case, when somebody kills somebody and they run from the cops, they could just run inside of a Target. And Target said, well, you can't come here, copper. Yeah, right, bro. That's a public business. You have the right to refuse service, but you do not have the right to obstruct justice. And that's what she's trying to play games with. She know they don't have the right. But see what they do? This is how they radicalize the youth. If you tell the youth, hey, look, no, this is the way the law is. They have no choice but to say, oh, okay. We get it. We kind of don't really have much recourse. But when you got these professors in here, oh, but I don't know. Maybe the police officer, maybe the business could say, we don't want you in here, and throw rose petals at them. Lady, are you retarded? No, you're not. This woman is, in my opinion, she's committing a form of treason. You're lying about the nature and the context of the law. And you're a professor of that. She needs to be fired, man. But yeah, we're gonna get away from this heifer. She's not a good person. She's not being honest. She's not an honest dealer, as they would say. Shout out to my boy Sticks and Stones LA for the $5 holla in the super chat. Salute to the channel. Let's get the likes up. Guys, it's 50 people watching on YouTube. And there are 20 people watching on X. We have, 53 people now. So we have 73 people in the chat. If you're not doing anything, stay with us to the end, man. Let's do it. Let's help this spread. We got one more topic. It's going to be about 10 minutes. Stay with us to the end and help us get this channel moving. And like I told you guys, it's all on me why the channel has taken a hit. I know you guys have noticed the dive in views. That's because of me. I did something stupid that I shouldn't have done. Didn't really know. It was kind of ignorant of me. It's not like it's nothing that's restricted, but it's something that affects the way the algorithm sees your channel and your videos. And I made the mistake of doing that. And then when I talked to somebody, they were like, dude, you never do that. And I am here now. But notice the numbers are slowly creeping back up. Hey, the numbers are slowly keep creeping back up, and I'm here for it. It's going to be a beautiful Thanksgiving and even more beautiful Christmas, and I'll be here with you next week, all throughout the Thanksgiving break. We're going every day live streams for Thanksgiving break, and I might even make them in the morning. Because the kids are going to be out of school, so y'all ain't got nothing to do, and I'll just be with you guys while you're headed to work and maybe for the first hour or two while you're at work, and it's going to be beautiful. So check with us next week. I don't got nothing to do. I think I might get started about 8 o'clock, hit the gym at 5 or 6, and come get cracking at 8. I think that would be a good look. I think that'd be a good look for us. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Now, we got to go to our next story. This is one I'm going to start covering some little more like dicey stuff. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but a 76-year-old grandmother was robbed at gunpoint by two hooligans in Cleveland. And the saddest part of the whole situation, right? The saddest part of the whole situation is that the woman just, in the video, you can hear the woman begging for them to leave her walker and her medicine. The woman is saying, please just leave me my walker and my medication. And these no good sons of a alley cats, they couldn't even do that. Tell me that's not sad as hell. And I want to bring light to some of these stories that get less recognition and less publicity, because this is ridiculous. Y'all tell me that the white man and racism Jasmine Crockett, oh, racism is the biggest issue and biggest threat. Joe Biden said that stuff too, because he know that's just what we like to hear. But I don't see the KKK robbing Granny. I don't see the KKK taking Granny's walker and her medication, man. I don't see it. Let's tap in.
Well, it could have been your parent or possibly your grandparent, an elderly woman carjacked at her home in a senior living complex.
Physically, she's okay, thankfully, but the emotional trauma remains. Today, she spoke only to 19 News about this terrifying ordeal.
Our Catherine Huntley is live with what she wants to see happen so this does not happen to anyone else. Catherine.
A mother and grandmother targeted for her car, an unthinkable crime. Barbara Ward says she's still dealing with the lasting trauma of this gunpoint carjacking, which just happened on Tuesday. Now she wants to see more protection here.
They said, give me your keys, give me your keys, give me your keys right now. You get out the car, get out the car.
It's a truly terrifying situation. Barbara Ward was getting into her car Tuesday to go to work. That's when two young men carjacked the 76-year-old at gunpoint. It happened just feet from the door of her Buckeye Woodhill apartment building.
He was tugging for my keys, I wouldn't give them to him. So we was tugging with the keys and I was holding them real tight. He had me bent over the armrests and stuff and we were just tugging with the keys.
Ward tried to fight the much younger thieves off, but couldn't. Once they got the keys, she begged them to give her her bag and walker. They then backed up the car right into her, knocking her over and running over her foot, showing no regard for the 76-year-old.
It was terrifying. I was traumatized behind that because I didn't believe what had just happened to me.
She went to the hospital to get checked out. Thankfully, she's okay. Get this isn't the first time Ward was a victim of a crime at St. Luke's Manor. Her car windows were smashed twice, once in June and then just a few weeks ago in October. She's sick and tired of being a victim.
This building got to step up and do something because they're collecting our rent money every month, and then we should have some more protection than what we get in here. I can't keep going through this and them keep on breaking out the windows out there and stuff. That's coming out of our pocket. They're not footing that bill. We are.
Ward's daughter and the residents want to see security patrolling the lot.
They need to have something in place and protect these people.
Ward tells us she got her car back within 2 hours and police arrested 3 people who were responsible. She's scared to even be in her parking lot and now fearful when people approach her.
It's fear, because now I have fear in my heart, and I don't want these teenagers, I don't want them walking up on me no kind of way now.
Just a little bit ago, I got off the phone with Penrose Management. They operate St. Luke's Manor here. They told me basically as we speak, they're calling around trying to contract with some sort of security company to help patrol these parking lots during times when the crimes are most prevalent. And they're a national company. They said they're going to be sending their director of security out to Cleveland to check out this property to see what improvements need to be made to keep their residents safe. And then I shared this news with Barbara Ward, that carjacking victim's daughter. She was thrilled. She says, bottom line, she wants her mom to be able to maintain her independence and live in a place where she feels safe. For now.
Yeah, man. I'll trade her mama with my mama, and my mom could go over there. My mama, she's crazy, so she'll fit right in with them YNs. But it's sad. And now guess what? When they bring the security, the rent gonna go up because somebody got to pay. The company's not footing the bill for your security. But this lady said, I don't want these young people walking up on me. And she want to say, I don't want these young black people walking up on me, because you already know who it is. You already know who it is. I hate to be that guy, but you know what? At this point, I don't. Black folks love preying on other black folks. But they hit this lady with her own damn car and ran over her foot. She's not even talking about the excruciating pain that she must have felt when a damn car ran over her foot. She's already old, dude. The old girl's had enough, don't you think? But these people don't care. And the parents raising them don't care. Or else they didn't throw him out the house because they over here doing too much, with them. But this is the way it is. I was watching the Anton Daniels situation where he interviewed Brian McKnight. And Brian McKnight talked about, his kids, they didn't got on the internet and they talking bad about bro. Well, I think one of them passed away, but they was talking about bro. He abandoned us and all this stuff. Imagine my surprise when I found out the kids was 30 years old. And Brian McKnight talked about how he just gave them way too much. They were way too entitled. They didn't want to work. They wanted to sit around and smoke weed all day. And he finally got to give them that tough love. And I got a homegirl. Happy birthday to her. But she's like, he's wrong. He abandoned his kids. I said, you do realize these fools is grown in their 30s. It don't matter. But that's the type of mama's love that's producing these little YNs. That's the type of mama's love that's producing these YNs. That's my baby. My baby can't do no wrong. My baby out here victimizing people, robbing old ladies, right? Remember the boy in Cincinnati? He and the daddy killed the cop. But that kid was out here robbing people. They out here robbing people. But don't nobody want to talk about that. It's black people who are like, bro, we're scared of these YNs, dude. They don't know what to do. They're scared. And y'all are talking about some white folks. The KKK didn't steal that lady's car, run her over with her own car. They didn't run. The Grand Dragon of the KKK did not go down to Cleveland, rob that lady at gunpoint, right? Take her car and run her over with it. And you won't hear a story about that in the next 50 years at all. You ain't heard about a story like that in the past 50 years. But we have to keep believing what I'm going to call mythology about how the white man and the KKK and the Grand Dragon is after us. And when we go outside, we don't feel safe because they own us. And you don't get the hell out of here. The only person you worried about when you walk outside is Pookie and Ray Ray. Try to show this. One more video. And you shouldn't feel ashamed to say that. Because if you don't tell the truth, guess what's going to happen? You're going to end up getting overrun. This is what happened during the 92 and 94 crime bill. Black folks was prisoners in their own home in the major cities because they couldn't go outside because it was getting that bad. It was getting that bad. Even Mike Tyson talked about it. He said he helped an old lady upstairs with her groceries, get her in the elevator, knock her out, take her money. Yeah, that's what happens when you got kids just out here running amok. When you got this dude out here.
20-year-old Alvin Foy III has been convicted of second-degree murder, attempted murder, and weapons charges. 2 years earlier, Foy and 20-year-old Jameer Manning fired 31 shots into a crowd on Essex Street. One of the stray bullets struck 18-year-old China Forney in the back. The high school senior was taken to a nearby hospital, but died from her injuries.
Damn.
Today, the defendant appears before Judge Roger McDonough to hear his sentence. But first, as Foy flashes a smile, China's sister, who appears off camera, delivers a victim impact statement. When Foy's smile turns into laughter, Judge McDonough steps in.
Excuse me a second. Let the record reflect that the defendant is laughing during the victim impact statement. Regardless of whether you admit to brutally murdering her, you wouldn't sit at sentencing and laugh about it. That's, sir, your time to speak is ended.
Judge McDonough sentences him to 25 years to life in prison. 20-year-old Alvin Foy.
Yeah, that's who you dealing with. Them the dudes right there that ran the old lady over. Those the type of dudes right there. You out here talking about you scared of the KKK. You out here talking about, yeah, the Grand Dragon gonna get me. And if you're a retard like Viral Way, oh, they still got sundown towns. Nah, ain't nobody worried about no sundown town, bro. People worried about people who do heinous acts, and it's funny to them. But you're trying to tell me that I need to be worried about a sundown town. No. You're safer in a sundown town than you are around animals like that. That's the way it is.
20-year-old Alvin Foy the third.
That's the way it is. Killed that girl and laughed about it. Oh, well, I didn't do nothing. Oh, Dwayne, I didn't do nothing. I didn't even do nothing. You did something. You just don't care. You never cared. And you're cracking a cheesy ass smile like somebody's baby ain't dead. But you know what I got to worry about? I got to worry about the sundown towns. There's another thing. There was another video I watched. Are police scared of black men? Hell yeah, they better be. Because there's some crazy fools around here. Murder you in cold blood and laugh about it. Murder you in cold blood and laugh about it.
We didn't get the parade. We got the month, Black History Month. I'm not a big fan. Never liked it. Here's the truth. Everybody's got a month. I don't know if you know that or not. In America, everybody's got a month. If you check the calendar, everybody's got a month. There's an Asian month. There's Hispanic month. There's LGBTXYQ month. And everybody's got a month. Just Black History Month is the one that's gotten all the fame, right? And like I said, never liked it. Mainly because I went to a predominantly white school growing up. I came on the same bus from Ohio you idiots did. I don't know anything about it. Here's a little tip, because apparently white people, you don't know this, but black people, we're scared of black people too. So, and if you're black and you don't laugh, you're lying to yourself. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody black has had that moment where you walk in somewhere, there's a whole bunch of black people you don't know, you go, whoa, what is going on here? Get your purse, baby. We're not saying. I don't know who these people are. That's how bad this country really is in terms of like how we treat each other, right? Like how bad the stereotypes are, right? I'm afraid of my own people. I'm going to tell you a true story. I went to the airport 3 years ago to go to Tampa, Florida. And when I got to my gate, it was all black people. All black people. Like there were 122 black people getting on the plane. And I'm like, what is going on here? I was concerned, right? I'm like, what am I flying? Soul plane? What is happening? Am I flying Soul plane? Is Kevin Hart the pilot? What is happening? I got so nervous, I called the flight attendant. Come here. Who are all of these people? I called my own people these people, right? And then she got cute. I thought they came with you, sir. No, that didn't happen. I didn't bring 100 and some black people to the airport in my Ford Focus. What are you, ridiculous?
Hey, he's not lying. He's not lying. Black people be scared of black people too. I get around a bunch of black people, I clutch my gun. I'm scared of what I'm going to do, overreacting to what I think they might do. That's where I'm at with it. But if you are not of that mindset, be afraid. Be very afraid. It's just the truth. Why you think black people in LA don't go to house parties no more? Why you think black people don't go to house parties no more in LA? Because they're always getting shot up by the Grand Dragon? No. By Dwayne, I didn't do nothing, Calhoun. I didn't do nothing. He never do nothing. Yet he always got the gun. Dwayne, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Calhoun. It ain't the Grand Dragon. It ain't the damn Grand Wizard. Negro can't even enjoy a pork chop sandwich at a house party like back in the day without old Glocktavius going up. Hey, cuh, the ops is up in here, cuh. I understand, Octavius, the ops are here, but there's also 100 people in between you and the ops. You want to walk up on them and make it personal and shoot them like a assassin? Or would you like to just fire aimlessly into the crowd and just pray that you don't hit anybody? I'll take option B. Now run, nigga, run. This is what we're dealing with. The ops is in here, cuz. So I'm going to stand 50 feet away from him and shoot into a crowd indiscriminately to hit the ops. This is what we're doing. And then they sit there and say, oh God, Dion, I didn't do that. That's what they say. I didn't do nothing. Negro, you was pulling a trigger. That takes at least 3 thoughts. Pull the gun, point the gun, pull the trigger. That's at least 3 thoughts. You got 3 choices you making. That's the intimate, crazy part about a gun. It takes 3 steps to kill somebody with a gun. Unless it's an accident, y'all tussling. First, you got to pull it. Then you got to aim it. Then you got to pull the trigger. Understand that. I bet you I know something y'all didn't know. You know when they say he brandished a weapon, what does that mean? That means you pulled the weapon out and you aimed it at somebody. That's what brandishing means. A lot of people think that just means you like had a weapon and somebody saw it, like you showed it. No. When you point a weapon at somebody, that's brandishing it. And when you actually shoot them, see. Showed it. It's beyond showing it. Because you can show somebody a weapon, and that's you just exposing it. Brandishing means you pointed it at somebody. And then draw down means you shot somebody. If I'm remembering that correctly. When they like, he brandished a weapon, you pointed at him. See, brandishing a weapon is the act of displaying a deadly weapon in a rude, angry, or threatening manner with the intent to intimidate another person and without acting in self-defense. The weapon, it says the weapon does not have to be used or pointed at the person, and the act can include making the weapon's presence known. So you could just say you got the weapon. So you're right, you're showing the weapon, yeah. And then what does it mean to draw down the weapon? See, these are important things. This is, to me, these are important this is important terminology. I think every black person should know. Oh yeah. To draw down is to remove a firearm from its holster and point it at someone in a ready-to-fire position. So like we hear, like I believe there are black people who are like, when they hear the word brandishing, they don't realize that that's like you literally threatening somebody with a weapon. I think they just mean like, oh, he was running and his shirt lifted up and the weapon was exposed. That was brandishing. Nah. These fools out here pulling out guns, threatening, pointing it at people. But this is the reality. And this is what and it's so crazy that they did this to this old lady. What did you think that old lady was gonna do? I mean, some old people do be having that iron on them, though. I ain't gonna lie. But dude, to then hit her with the car, she was no longer a threat. And run over her foot, she was no longer a threat. Us Long Beach brothers. Long Beach has a history of racial fighting, race-based fighting. So we a little bit we have our days. I'll say that. But yeah, man, it's sad that they did that to that lady. Something's got to give. I think they just gonna come back with some stuff like the '94 crime bill again, honestly, and they just gonna make the penalties real stiff because it can't keep going this way. When you start messing with old people, you know old people are the voters, right? They go vote. They'll vote. But you make them feel scared, something gonna happen. Because that's who got that stuff passed in that 94 and that 92 crime bill. It was old people. A bunch of old black folks voted. They begged Biden for it, and then they act like they didn't know what happened. Huh? What bill? What? Oh, 3 strikes was that? They knew exactly what it was. Oh yeah, no morals. YNs running around unchecked. Hey guys, please consider becoming a member of the channel if you like what you hear. I think I'm gonna do a revival next week, like church. We're gonna have a revival all week, sticks and stones. We starting at 8 and we ending at 8. Fuck it, just turn on the camera and let it ride. But yeah, we're going every day next week. I just realized it's my daughter had to remind me that next week is Thanksgiving, So she was like, I'm out of school. I said, you are? Yeah, she said next week. It's Thanksgiving. I said, oh crap. Okay, cool. I have my head down. I've been on the grind, man. We doing a revival, y'all. Miss Barry, you better be there. We baptizing folks, and we're gonna have a pool for the kids. We're not gonna baptize people in the kiddie pool. But yeah, let's do it. We're gonna do it. It don't matter. So everybody in here, I expect you to be here next week to handle business. Thank y'all so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for this channel and for me. Until the next time, do me a favor, please. I ask that you take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.